Today, we'll take a look at the best budget smartphones in 2021. I made this list based on my personal opinion, and I'll try and help you find the right one for your needs. To see the most up-to-date prices and find out more information about these budget smartphones, you can check out the links in the description below. Before we start, I have a question for you. Which smartphone are you using right now? Would you recommend it? Let me know in the comments section below. Starting off our list, we have the Moto G Fast. The Moto G Fast is one of the best smartphones that's available for under $200. A 6.4-inch LCD dominates the phone's front with a small notch for the selfie camera. The resolution comes in at 1560 by 720 pixels for a density of 268 ppi. While the display is bright and has excellent color accuracy, it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of clarity compared to the 399 ppi Moto G Power, which we'll talk about later. The Moto G Fast has the same rear camera stack as the Moto G Power. There's a 16 megapixel primary sensor with an f1.7 aperture, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide lens with an f2.2 aperture, and a 2 megapixel macro lens with an f2.2 aperture. The front-facing camera is slightly different, coming in at 8 megapixels with an f2.2 aperture compared to the Moto G Power with 16 megapixels. While the Moto G Fast is powered by the same Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 chipsets as its G-series siblings, that's where the hardware similarities end. There are 3 gigabytes of RAM here, then 4 gigabytes in the Moto G Power and Moto G Stylus. Storage has been cut in half to 32 gigabytes, of which nearly 20 gigabytes is available out of the box. On the plus side, you can add up to an additional 512 gigabytes of storage with a microSD card. The Moto G Fast is an excellent choice for anyone who can't spend more than $200 on a new smartphone, thanks to its solid battery life, a serviceable display, and cameras that have good enough performance. Next on the list, we have the Moto G Power 2020. Year after year, Motorola stands out as one of the best companies to watch for delivering good, cheap Android phones. 2020 saw the release of the Moto G Power. If you're in the market for an affordable smartphone, it's hard to do much better than this. Anything that lasts more than 10 hours has good battery life. In my book, the Moto G Power blows them all away, with a runtime of 16 hours and 10 minutes. That's the best phone battery life I've ever seen, and it's remarkable when you consider the Moto G Power costs under $250. But that's not the only reason this Android phone made our best budget smartphone video. The Moto G Power also features a large 6.5-inch display with full HD resolution, pretty good performance from its Snapdragon 660 processor, and a solid 64 gigabytes of storage. And while the triple rear cameras aren't best in class, I appreciate there's an ultra-wide shooter on board here. At 7 ounces, the BV5000 mAh battery inside the Moto G Power certainly contributes to its weight. And the screen on this phone could be more colorful. But overall, the Moto G Power more than lives up to its name. Tying all of this together is Motorola's excellent software. The user interface is nearly identical to what you'd find on a Pixel, meaning it's clean, pure Android, as Google intended it. A fantastic smartphone that won't let you down in any case. Moving forward, we have the Google Pixel 4a. If you prefer Android and want to spend a little less money, or just want the best camera, then the Google Pixel 4a is the obvious choice. It doesn't have the larger screen or the fastest processor, but it does have a clean version of Android that's guaranteed to get software updates for at least a few years. The Pixel 4a's main claim to fame is its camera, which can go head-to-head with smartphones that cost $1,500 or more. That's because Google does so much of the image processing and software. It means that the Pixel 4a can take night photos, do astrophotography, and has a passable portrait mode. That's not the only reason why the Pixel 4a is one of my favorite Android phones. It's also speedy, the battery lasts a full day, and the 5.8-inch OLED screen looks ultra-modern. Where the Pixel 4 excels are in the basics. Its 3,180 mAh battery lasts all day, thanks to the power-sipping properties of its upgraded Qualcomm Snapdragon 730 processor. Its 5.8-inch OLED display goes edge-to-edge with only the slightest hint of a bezel and a camera cut out near the top left. There's no wireless charging or water resistance, and it has the plastic body. Despite a premium matte finish, it can feel a little less premium than its metal and glass counterparts. Otherwise, this is a near-perfect phone for its very reasonable price, and should be at the top of your list if you can spring the extra money over the Moto G Power. Let's now talk about the Xiaomi Poco X3. The Xiaomi Poco X3 NFC is all about value, like every Poco handset before it, and almost every Xiaomi device. The Poco X3 NFC is probably the best phone for gaming at its price. It has a prominent, well-spec'd screen, loud stereo speakers, and its Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G processor handles titles such as Fortnite far better than the Snapdragon 665 and Exynos 9611 phones you might buy for the same cash. The Poco X3 NFC has an impressive sounding 64 megapixel primary camera. It takes good shots, but suffers from significant purple fringing, more so than most rival phones in this price range. Still, its digital 2x mode is better than most, and while its low light performance won't worry the Google Pixel 4a, it's at least on par with a better budget Android. The Poco X3 NFC has just about the most advanced display at this price. This is a 6.67-inch IPS LCD panel of 2400 by 1080 pixel resolution and has a trim punch hole for the front camera. While impressive, they alone don't make the Poco X3 screen special. It's the 120Hz refresh rate that does. Most budget phones come with a screen that refreshes 60 times a second. The panel here refreshes up to 120 times a second. It's in the app menu where you'll notice the most. Your current phone may not look clunky in motion, but put it next to the Poco X3 NFC and you'll be proved wrong. And finally, we have the best of the best. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 9 Pro is our pick for best overall. After the Redmi Note 9S, Xiaomi has now released another exciting mobile phone in the form of the Redmi Note 9 Pro for a relatively low price. Xiaomi, once again, offers a large smartphone with a lot of features. The Redmi Note 9 Pro is aimed at the upper mid-range segment. The Redmi Note 9 Pro focuses on delivering a value for money experience. While the competition pushes the barrier with specs and price, the Redmi Note 9 Pro sticks to its formula, bringing outstanding performance and good enough imaging to a price point that's within reach of most buyers. The end result is a phone that delivers what it promises: a 6.67-inch IPS display with a resolution of 2400 by 1080 pixels, 6 GB of LPDDR4X RAM, the octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 720G SoC, and an impressive 5020 mAh battery are the main ingredients of this Redmi Note 9 Pro. The Redmi Note 9 Pro is powerful, and everyday work will go smoothly. The display is large and crisp, making games and movies look good. And you have a choice between variants, one with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of storage, and the other with 6 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. The quad camera setup includes an 8 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and a somewhat questionable 5 megapixel macro sensor. The primary shooter this time around, however, is a 48 megapixel Samsung GM2 sensor. If flat-out performance at a low price is what you want, the Redmi Note 9 Pro still delivers the best bang for the buck.
Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, then hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you loved it. Take a moment to hit the bell icon so you'll get notified of all our latest uploads.